In the quiet, unassuming town of Eldor, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, life thrived in an almost magical way. The townsfolk went about their daily routines with an unspoken understanding that their community was special. The farmers' crops grew larger and healthier than anywhere else, illnesses were rare and swiftly cured, and misfortune seemed to avoid Eldor as if by an unseen hand. While many attributed their fortune to the town's picturesque location and the hard work of its inhabitants, there was a secret known only to a few: the presence of the Chosen Ones. The Chosen Ones were a group of individuals blessed with extraordinary abilities. They lived discreetly among the townspeople, using their powers to subtly aid and protect the community. Their gifts varied greatly. Anna could heal with a mere touch, Gabriel could manipulate elements, and Mara had the gift of foresight. Then there was Daniel, whose telekinetic abilities could move mountains, and Elias, who could commune with animals and nature. Each of them played a crucial role in maintaining the harmony and prosperity of Eldor. Despite their abilities, the Chosen Ones were careful to conceal their powers from the broader world. They knew their gifts were a double-edged sword, capable of bringing both great benefit and potential danger if misused or discovered by those with ill intentions. They had formed a pact many generations ago, vowing to protect Eldor and its secrets at all costs. One serene evening, under a sky shimmering with stars, the Chosen Ones gathered at the edge of the town to discuss a peculiar sensation they had all been feeling. The air seemed charged with an unfamiliar energy, and the night sky, usually a comforting blanket, now felt heavy with an impending sense of doom. Mara, the seer, had been experiencing increasingly vivid and disturbing visions, though their meaning eluded her. "I've seen shadows swallowing the light," she said, her voice tinged with anxiety. "An unknown force is approaching, something beyond our understanding." The group listened intently, their faces illuminated by the moonlight. They had learned to trust Mara's visions, as they had often guided them through past challenges. Gabriel, ever the protector, clenched his fists. "Whatever it is, we will face it together. We've always found a way before." As they spoke, the wind began to pick up, rustling the leaves and sending an eerie whisper through the trees. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled slightly, and a faint mist began to rise from the earth, swirling around their feet. Anna, her hand instinctively reaching for a healing charm around her neck, looked at the others with wide eyes. This isn't natural." Before they could react, the mist thickened, enveloping them in an almost tangible cloak of darkness. The Chosen Ones felt a sudden and intense pull, as if the very fabric of reality was being torn apart. Their attempts to use their powers to counteract the force were futile. The mist seemed to absorb their energy, rendering them powerless. In the heart of Eldor, the townspeople were oblivious to the struggle unfolding at the town's edge. They went about their evening routines, preparing for bed or sharing stories by the fireside. Yet, a few sensitive souls felt a shiver down their spines, a fleeting sense that something was amiss. As the mist reached its peak, a blinding flash of light erupted. Then, just as quickly as it had begun, the phenomenon ceased. The Chosen Ones were gone, leaving no trace of their presence. The town fell silent, the only sound the rustle of leaves in the wind. Morning came, bringing with it the sun's warm rays and the promise of a new day. But as the townspeople awoke, they quickly realized that something was terribly wrong. The usual vibrancy of Eldor was absent. Fields that had always been lush and green now appeared dull and lifeless. The air, once filled with the cheerful chirping of birds, was eerily quiet. Families called out for the Chosen Ones, seeking their help with minor ailments or daily tasks, but received no answer. It wasn't long before word spread that the Chosen Ones had disappeared. Panic set in as the realization dawned that the very fabric of their community was unraveling. Elena, the town's elder who had known about the Chosen One's true nature, called for an emergency meeting at the town square. Her weathered face bore the marks of age and wisdom, and her eyes, though clouded with worry, still held a glimmer of hope. "We must remain calm," she urged the gathered crowd, her voice steady despite the anxiety swirling around her. "We need to understand what happened and how we can bring them back." Lucas, a local scholar with a deep interest in the town's history and legends, stepped forward. "I've been studying the old texts," he began, holding up a weathered book. "There are references to a prophecy about the chosen ones and a time of great peril. We need to gather all the information we can and form a plan." The townspeople, though frightened, rallied together, driven by their love for their community and the chosen ones who had protected them for so long. They searched for clues, scoured ancient texts, and sought out those who might have knowledge of mystical occurrences. As they pieced together fragments of information, a pattern began to emerge. The strange energy, the mist, the trembling earth, all pointed to an otherworldly event, something beyond their realm of understanding. The prophecy Lucas mentioned spoke of a convergence of forces, a test of the chosen one's true purpose and strength. While the townspeople worked tirelessly, strange occurrences began to plague Eldor. Animals became restless and agitated, crops continued to wither despite the farmers' best efforts, and minor injuries escalated into severe illnesses. The sense of urgency grew, and the realization that the chosen ones were essential to their survival became painfully clear. Children, who had once played freely in the fields, now stayed close to their homes, their innocent laughter replaced by anxious whispers. Eldor's spirit, which had always been so vibrant, was now overshadowed by a deepening gloom. In the midst of this turmoil, a small group of determined individuals emerged, driven by a common goal: to find and bring back the chosen ones. Among them were Serena, a skilled tracker with an unerring sense of direction; Lucas, whose knowledge of lore and history was unmatched; and Ella, a young girl with an uncanny ability to sense the unseen. Together they formed a search party, vowing to venture into the unknown to uncover the fate of the chosen ones. Ella walked beside Lucas, her young face a mix of determination and worry. She clutched a small pendant around her neck, a gift from Mara, the seer, before her disappearance. The pendant, a simple silver disc inscribed with intricate symbols, seemed to pulse with a faint energy, providing Ella with a sense of connection to the missing chosen ones. As they journeyed, the group encountered the first of many challenges. The forest paths were winding and often disappeared altogether, forcing them to navigate through dense underbrush and fallen trees. They faced natural obstacles, such as rivers swollen from recent rains and steep rocky inclines that tested their endurance. Serena's expertise in tracking and pathfinding proved invaluable, guiding them through the toughest terrain. On the fourth day of their journey, as they made their way through a particularly dense part of the forest, Serena halted suddenly, raising her hand to signal the group to stop. "Look," she whispered, pointing to a series of strange symbols carved into the bark of a large oak tree. Lucas stepped forward, examining the symbols closely. "These markings," he said, his voice tinged with excitement, "they're the same as those described in the ancient texts. They indicate a pathway to the hidden realm." Nadia, her eyes sharp and alert, scanned the surrounding area. "We need to be careful," she warned. "If these symbols are a guide, others might be following them as well." The group pressed on, following the trail of symbols that led them deeper into the heart of the forest. The air grew cooler, and a thin mist began to rise from the ground, giving the landscape an otherworldly quality. As night fell, they set up camp in a small clearing, the flickering firelight casting eerie shadows on the trees around them. While the others prepared for the night, Lucas and Ella pored over the journal, trying to decipher the meaning behind the symbols. "According to the texts," Lucas explained, "the hidden realm is a place where the boundaries between our world and another are thin. It's a place of trials where the chosen one's true strength and purpose are tested." Ella nodded, her eyes reflecting the firelight. "Do you think we're getting close?" Lucas sighed, his expression thoughtful. "I hope so. The signs are becoming more frequent, and the air feels different. We must be vigilant." As they rested, the sounds of the forest surrounded them. Rustling leaves, distant animal calls, and the occasional snap of a twig. Each noise heightened their awareness, a constant reminder of the dangers that lurked in the darkness. Despite the tension, the group found comfort in their shared purpose, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. The next morning, they resumed their journey, following the trail of symbols that led them to the base of a towering mountain range. The path ahead was steep and treacherous, the rocky slopes presenting a formidable challenge. Bryn, with his immense strength, took the lead, helping to clear a path and assist those struggling with the climb. The ascent was grueling, each step requiring careful placement to avoid loose rocks and unstable ground. The higher they climbed, the thinner the air became, making it difficult to breathe and sapping their energy. Despite the physical strain, the group's resolve remained unshaken, their determination to find the chosen ones driving them forward. As they neared the summit, a sudden chilling wind swept over them, bringing with it a sense of foreboding. The mist that had been a constant presence now thickened, obscuring their vision and making it difficult to see the path ahead. Serena, her eyes narrowed against the wind, spotted a narrow crevice in the rock face, barely visible through the swirling mist. "This way," she called out, leading the group toward the crevice. "It looks like an entrance." One by one, they squeezed through the narrow opening, emerging into a hidden valley shrouded in mist and shadows. The landscape was unlike anything they had seen before, an eerie, almost surreal place where the natural and supernatural seemed to coexist. Strange luminescent plants cast an otherworldly glow, and the air was filled with the faint hum of unseen energy. In the center of the valley stood a massive stone archway, covered in the same symbols they had been following. Lucas approached the archway, his heart pounding with anticipation. "This must be the entrance to the hidden realm," he said, his voice filled with awe. "We found it." The group gathered around the archway, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the symbols. As they stood there, the ground beneath them began to tremble, and a low, resonant hum filled the air. The archway seemed to pulse with energy, a gateway to another world. Ella stepped forward, her pendant glowing brightly. "I can feel them," she whispered, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and determination. "The chosen ones are here, on the other side." With a deep breath, Serena reached out and touched the archway. The symbols flared to life, and a blinding light enveloped the group, pulling them into the hidden realm. When the light faded, they found themselves in a place that defied description. The sky above was a swirling mass of colors, and the ground beneath their feet seemed to shift and change with each step. The air was charged with an almost tangible energy, and the landscape was filled with strange, otherworldly creatures and plants. The search party quickly realized that they were not alone. Dark, shadowy figures moved through the mist, their presence a constant threat. These were the guardians of the hidden realm, beings tasked with testing and challenging any who entered. Lucas, his mind racing, recalled the ancient texts. "We must be careful," he warned. "The guardians are here to test us. We must prove our worth and find the chosen ones." The group moved cautiously through the realm, their senses heightened and their nerves on edge. Each step brought new challenges, puzzles that tested their intellect, obstacles that required their physical strength, and illusions that played on their deepest fears and insecurities. At one point, they came upon a massive chasm, its depth shrouded in darkness. A narrow, precarious bridge spanned the gap, swaying ominously in the wind. Bryn stepped forward, his face set with determination. "I'll go first," he said, gripping the ropes tightly. As Bryn made his way across the bridge, the others watched anxiously, the creaking of the ropes and the howling wind adding to the tension. He reached the other side safely and motioned for the others to follow. One by one, they crossed the chasm, their hearts pounding with each step. On the other side, they encountered a series of labyrinthine tunnels, each twist and turn presenting new challenges. Serena's tracking skills were put to the test as she led them through the maze, her keen senses guiding them toward the heart of the realm. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they emerged into a vast open chamber. At its center stood a towering figure cloaked in darkness, its eyes glowing with an eerie light. The figure radiated a sense of power and malevolence, and the group knew that they had reached the final test. The maze, another trial, required them to solve a complex series of puzzles that tested their intellect and creativity. Lucas's vast knowledge and analytical mind were invaluable in deciphering the clues and finding the solutions. The final trial in the caves was a test of courage. The search party found themselves in a dark chamber filled with their deepest fears and insecurities. Each member of the group had to confront their own demons, drawing on the support and strength of their friends to overcome the darkness. With each trial they overcame, the search party grew stronger and more united. They learned to rely on one another, to trust in their own abilities, and in the bond that had formed among them. They understood that their journey was not just about finding the chosen ones, but also about proving their own worth and resilience. After emerging from the caves, they found themselves on the edge of a vast, shimmering lake. The lake's surface was covered in a thin layer of ice, and the air was filled with a faint, ethereal music. Ella's pendant glowed brightly, signaling that they were close to their goal. As they crossed the lake, the ice beneath their feet began to crack and shift, creating a series of treacherous paths. The search party moved cautiously, their steps measured and deliberate. At one point, they had to form a human chain, using their combined strength and balance to navigate a particularly unstable section of the ice. On the other side of the lake, they encountered the final challenge, a massive stone fortress surrounded by a swirling vortex of dark energy. The fortress loomed ominously against the sky, its walls radiating an aura of malevolence. Ella's visions had shown her glimpses of this place, and she knew that the chosen ones were inside, trapped by the dark energy. The search party steeled themselves for the final confrontation, knowing they would need to draw on all their strength and unity to succeed. As they approached the fortress, the ground beneath them began to tremble, and the air grew thick with oppressive energy. The dark vortex intensified, pushing them back and sapping their strength. But the search party pressed on, driven by their determination to save their friends. At the entrance to the fortress, they encountered a massive stone door covered in intricate carvings. The carvings depicted scenes of battle and sacrifice, a grim reminder of the trials that awaited them inside. Lucas studied the carvings closely, searching for clues to unlock the door. After a few moments, he found a hidden mechanism, and with a loud grinding noise, the door slowly swung open, revealing a dark, shadowy interior. The search party entered the fortress, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and determination. Inside, they encountered a series of trials designed to test their resolve and unity. Each trial was more challenging than the last, pushing them to their limits both physically and mentally. They faced illusions that played on their deepest fears, traps that required quick thinking and agility, and puzzles that tested their intellect and creativity. One trial involved navigating a room filled with shifting platforms and hidden pitfalls. Serena's agility and keen senses were crucial in guiding the group safely across. Another trial required them to solve a complex series of riddles, each one more difficult than the last. Lucas's vast knowledge and analytical mind were invaluable in deciphering the clues. Throughout these trials, the search party relied on their individual strengths and their unwavering trust in one another. They learned to communicate without words, to anticipate each other's needs and reactions, and to draw strength from their unity. Finally, they reached the heart of the fortress, a vast dark chamber filled with swirling shadows and pulsating energy. At the center of the chamber, they saw the chosen ones, bound by chains of dark energy and surrounded by a malevolent aura. The search party approached cautiously, their hearts filled with a mixture of hope and fear. As they drew closer, the dark energy intensified, pushing them back and sapping their strength. It was clear that they would need to confront and overcome this darkness to free their friends. Drawing on their combined strength and the lessons they had learned throughout their journey, the search party faced the darkness head-on. They channeled their individual abilities and their collective will, pushing back against the malevolent force that held the chosen ones captive. Ella, her pendant glowing with a brilliant light, stepped forward and called out to the chosen ones. "We are here for you," she cried, her voice filled with determination. "We will not let this darkness hold you. Together, we are stronger." Her words resonated through the chamber, and the chosen ones responded, their faces filled with renewed hope and strength. Drawing on the connection they shared with the search party, they began to fight against the chains that bound them. With a final powerful surge of energy, the search party and the chosen ones broke free from the darkness. The chains shattered, and the malevolent aura dissipated, leaving the chamber bathed in a warm, golden light. The chosen ones, exhausted, embraced their friends with tears of gratitude and relief. They had been tested to their limits, but had emerged stronger and more united than ever before. The search party, too, had proven their worth and resilience, forging a bond that would never be broken. As they made their way out of the dark fortress, the hidden realm began to shift and change around them. The oppressive energy lifted, replaced by a sense of peace and harmony. The landscape, once filled with shadows and uncertainty, now radiated with a soft, welcoming light. Together, the search party and the chosen ones returned to Eldor, their hearts filled with hope and determination. They had faced the trials of the hidden realm and emerged victorious, their bond stronger than ever. The return to Eldor was marked by a joyous celebration. The townspeople, who had waited anxiously for their return, greeted them with open arms and tearful smiles. The chosen ones quickly set to work, using their powers to heal the land and restore balance to the community. The story of their journey and the trials they had faced became a legend, a testament to the power of unity, resilience, and hope. The search party and the chosen ones had not only saved Eldor, but had also reaffirmed the strength and spirit of their community. As life in Eldor returned to normal, the bond between the chosen ones and the townspeople grew even stronger. They had faced the darkness together and emerged victorious, their unity and determination a beacon of hope for future generations. And so, the legend of the chosen ones and the brave search party lived on, a timeless story of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring power of hope. Eldor would always remember their journey and the lessons they had learned, a reminder that, even in the darkest of times, the light of unity and resilience would always prevail. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, comments, and share to all. Give your feedback in the video comments.